Now, when Perth grandfather Keith Spratt was told he had just weeks to live, he went home and prayed for a medical miracle. In a race against the clock, Keith took a gamble on a surgeon from Fremantle Hospital. And as Natalie Bonjola reports, it paid off. The rare procedure, an Australian first.
I said, look, how much time do I really have? And he said, hard to tell. He said, it might be 2 weeks. Come on, Professor Stanley.
It was just too dangerous to do an open surgery on it, and they were quite confident if they tried, they'd kill Keith.
To Keith Spratt, Professor Stanley's more than a horse. He's a symbol of hope, named after the surgeon who saved his life.
I'm the luckiest man in the world. I had a severe pain in my shoulder.
He didn't know it, but Keith had a time bomb ticking inside him, a condition which would kill him within weeks.
So he said, there's really nothing I can do. He said, all I can suggest is you go home and enjoy what time you've got.
And I sat on the settee, and I remember saying, oh my God.
Diane and Keith were only months off celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. Keith wouldn't make it.
I remember coming home that first time, opening the gate to the paddocks and thinking, he'll never do this again.
This is our last chance.
Keith was diagnosed with an aneurysm, a ballooning of the artery wall.
And if they rupture, the chance of dying are at least 90%, if not 100%.
A vascular surgeon at Fremantle Hospital, Dr Brendan Stanley has treated hundreds of cases, but nothing like Keith's.
If it did rupture, he would die.
This is a scan of Keith's aneurysm, an 11-centimetre balloon in the arch of his aorta, the major artery to the heart, making it almost impossible to operate.
So that made Keith's aneurysm not only very dangerous if it was to burst, but it was very difficult to treat.
Most aneurysms are found in the abdominal area and are fixed by inserting a stent into the artery using a catheter. The stent is then released, reinforcing the artery wall.
It's very close to the major arteries that supply the brain and very close to the heart, and that makes it difficult to fix with one of these, which is what's called a stent graft.
On Keith, it would block those major arteries, causing a stroke and death.
And Keith just turned to me and said, well, why not just put holes in the graft? Which made me smile, but it also, I turned to him and said, yes, well, actually, we can do that.
He said, I'll go away and I'll get my team and we'll see what we can do.
Trouble is, the stent has to be custom-made.
And that takes 4 to 6 weeks, and that was one of the problems. We had to wait for this to be made, and in that time we were all concerned that this aneurysm could rupture, and if it did, Keith was going to die.
In a desperate race against the clock, Keith waits at Fremantle Hospital.
This was not only a large aneurysm, but it was rapidly growing, that we were very worried that it would burst before we even had a chance to fix it.
Even if Keith lives long enough for the life-saving part to arrive, no one knows if he'll survive the surgery.
I either died on the operating theatre, on the table, or I died a couple of weeks later.
Keith is the very first person in Australia to have this procedure. And in the whole world, it's only been performed on 12 patients. It's incredibly risky. 1 in 4 didn't make it. But despite those odds, for Keith, this is his best bet.
The last thing I can remember, I saw a nurse with a mask on, and I can remember thinking, is this the last thing I'll ever see?
To insert the stent is a medical minefield.
It was always going to be fairly tense because it is the first time we've done it.
To position the stent in place, they'll first have to stop Keith's heart.
We had 30 seconds to then open the graft up and get it into position and get the hooks of the graft embedded into the aortic wall.
In a marathon 5-hour surgery, 3 stents are deployed, blocking off the aneurysm while still allowing blood flow to Keith's brain.
You don't know if something's going on with the brain, if we've caused a stroke or anything, until he wakes up after the procedure.
I just thought, geez, you know, I'm still here.
Incredibly, Keith becomes the first person in the country to survive the rare operation.
Keith, good to see you again.
How are you?
3 months since the surgery, Keith's given a clean bill of health.
Thanks for what you've done.
Thank you for having faith that we could get this fixed for you.
Didn't really doubt you at all.
Good on. Okay.
And I really believe that God had his hand on Keith and that he wasn't meant to go at that time.
Their prayers for a medical miracle answered by a surgeon who took a chance against the odds.
We know we've done it. We know we've done it successfully. So yes, we've got the potentially ability to fix other people as well.
The team at Fremantle Hospital is now using Keith's case to teach other surgeons across the country. Natalie Bonjour.